first, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was raised in Bed-Stuyvesant, a neighborhood called Bed-Stuyvesant. And then I moved to a neighborhood of Brownsville. My childhood was very, it was rough. I saw a lot of violence. In school, I used to fight a lot. From elementary all the way to high school, I fought. I remember going to a service with my mom and her family. The Holy Spirit came over me, and I was, never felt anything like that. And I gave my life to God.
Wow. Yo. Welcome back, y'all, to the Bridge of Proverbs.
Hey, y'all. Where we help to?
Help you.
Be the bridge.
That helped you.
Get over.
Yeah. So today, y'all, we got another guest. My very own. This is my father, y'all. This is my pops, Desmond Albergottie. And so before we even get started, I just wanted to introduce y'all to him. He's my pops, my father. He is a man of God. And my God, when y'all hear his testimony, yeah, y'all gonna be like, oh my goodness. But it's going to show God's power.
Amen.
And his saving grace and his redemptive power.
Amen.
And so before we even get started, is there anything that you would like to say, Wawa?
Of course. So first, I want to say that I told y'all in episode, was it this season? No, last season, with the episode with Desiree's mom. She don't look like her mom. She looked like her pops, right? And here's the proof and evidence of her twin.
My twin.
Right? But this is my Uncle Mayweather, okay? And y'all see why. Y'all see the resemblance, okay? But it's not just a physical resemblance.
Right.
My God, y'all gonna hear in the testimony, okay? All right. We are spiritually and physically Amen. But like Desiree said, he is a man of God now.
Yes, right.
Okay. And I love him, and I am so grateful that he accepted our invitation to come
Daddy,
and
I love
share
you.
his story.
I'm very honored to be here.
Yes. And so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. We got some questions, okay?
Questions?
Okay. But first,
I hope I have some answers.
But first, Dad, just tell us and the viewers a little bit about your childhood and your upbringing.
Well, my childhood. Well, first, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was raised in Bed-Stuyvesant, a neighborhood called Bed-Stuyvesant. And then I moved to a neighborhood of Brownsville. My childhood was very, it was rough. I saw a lot of violence. I'm trying not to be too detailed. I used to fight a lot in school. I remember watching one of your episodes where I forget the gentleman's name that was on, and he was saying that how they used to tell the kids or the boys, tough up, don't cry.
Zach.
I came from that. I came from that era where, you hung around. First, I was a loner. I really didn't I didn't hang with anybody. But me growing up, me growing up and seeing violence made me, kind of tough. And in school, I used to fight a lot. From elementary all the way to high school, I fought. And most of the fights, I don't recall any of the fights me losing, but
my God,
I was always
Mayweather.
There you go.
I was small in stature, and which you know, I told you I was alone, always a loner,
Mm-hmm.
and I would beat up the some kids that I never picked on anybody and never was a bully or anything like that, but I wasn't going to be bullied.
Mm-hmm.
So which that drew a certain kind of people around you when you start winning and they see that you didn't take no junk, and that drew them, to me. Um, from there, I went on, meeting certain type of people from the streets,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that kind of developed my so-called temperament. Um, I always had a temper, but like I said, I was never a bully. Um, I remember specifically in high school, I was always by myself and walking through the halls, and you see the group of guys or whatever, and they used to run around taking people. We used to wear jeans, and there was Lee jeans, and they had patches on them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a group of guys that always would run around grabbing the signs and rip them off people's pants. A lot of kids was poor, couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Lee pants on,
My God.
and I had a way of carrying myself. Always looked serious because you know um, I didn't want nobody to bother me. So they used to see me and never said anything to me because it's the way I carried myself. Um, Remember, I told you saw a lot of violence. My uncle was a very violent man. Like my favorite uncle. Used to go everywhere with him. Not because
Right.
he not because he was violent. He just spent a lot of time with me. He
Mm-hmm.
invested in me. He took me to the pet stores. He took me everywhere he went.
Mm-hmm.
I know now that was very dangerous because he wasn't well liked, and But he always told me, if you let somebody bully you, or you gonna have to deal with me. And I seen what he did to people
My God.
when I was with him, and I didn't want him to. So he
Jesus.
taught me how to carry myself and what to do. And if I called him, it would be a problem. I never had to call him, thank God.
Thank you,
Because
Jesus.
anyway, these kids would look at me, but never, and I used to, be like, oh, there's gonna be a time where they come at me, but the time never came. Um, I knew I had to. I started boxing again. I told you I was a loner. I went to the boxing gym alone by myself. Um, Even the trainer was shocked. He was like, "You came in here by yourself?" I said, "Yeah." And he was like, "Why did you come? What brought you into the gym?" I said, "Well, I fight a lot on the streets, and I just want to, know how to fight better."
Tune up. My God, Jesus.
Mayweather.
I went to the PAL. It's a PAL in Brooklyn on Liberty Street. Very rough neighborhood where Junior Jones, if you look him up, he was a world champ. Derek Francis. There was a couple of boxers in there that turned pro. At the time, they wasn't pro. So I go to the gym and I'm hitting the bag, and he's like, "You sure you ain't never been to a boxing gym?" I said, "No, this is the first gym I ever been to. So he was like, okay. That same day, he puts me in the boxing ring with this other gentleman that was tall, and this young kid, he had a crew with him. He had, they was like, yeah, yeah, you know, do your thing, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I'm by myself. I was like, well, they gonna be in for a surprise because I'm bringing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pretty even fight because he'd been going to the gym a while. Pretty even fight, but the difference is I kept coming forward, and he couldn't get me off of him. And I think it went 3 rounds, about 3 rounds, and the fight stopped, and I'm unscathed. I'm like, yeah, I did my thing. And his whole crew was silent.
They ain't like that.
They was cheering in the beginning. They was quiet.
They might lose.
So, yeah, I had a bloody lip, but other than that, I was unscathed. I think he had a bloody nose, and he was quiet. Next day, I come back to the gym. He didn't show up. Junior Jones was there. Like I told you, Derek Francis. There was a couple of guys that actually went pro. If I would have kept going, I could have probably went further than I did. But they all came up to me and was like, yo, he ain't coming back no more. His mother didn't want him fighting after what happened yesterday.
Wow.
And, so that's how I got into boxing. Yeah, I graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School, which is in Brownsville. Very rough neighborhood as well. Real rough neighborhood. So yeah, I had my childhood was kind of rough. I, like I said, I was on the streets. I met a lot of people that knew that I could fight from around the block, and they would never bother me. And I met a couple of drug dealers, and they was like, I don't know. I thought they was coming up to me like to start something, but they was like, yo, we noticed something different about you. Like you don't drink, you don't smoke. And so basically this was a recruitment. And they they recruited me for a specific job, not to beat nobody up, anything like that.
My God, security.
And not even to sell drugs. So I don't want to tell too much because it's I don't want to seem like I'm promoting the devil either. But yeah, I learned a lot from the streets, and from there, I always liked to work as well. So I used to, like I said, my uncle used to take me to the pet shop. I was fascinated about animals and stuff like that. And so my first job was in a pet store, and it was in a white neighborhood in Brooklyn. I was the only black, black, not person, but black salesperson in the store. The other one was a white guy, and we was closing this day. 9 o'clock came. Manager said, "Close the door. Don't let nobody in." I go to the door. 3 white guys came up. Was like, "Yo, I want to come in." Just as I was like, "Sorry, we're closed." And he started like, "Man, open the door." Da 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 da. Saying all this. Yeah, that came out of me. So I was like, I'm not opening the door. All right, we gonna be waiting out here. I said, yeah, we'll wait.
Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. The manager said, everything all right? I was like, yeah, they wanted to come in. I ain't let them in. And she was looking. And she said, you leaving? Because they out there. I said, yeah, I'm going home.
Right, exactly.
So when I opened the door to go out, the guy approached me. Why you ain't let me in? I said, because we was closed.
Right. What kind of question, Jesus? Help.
And he got closer to me and I pushed him. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but back up off me. So he came back and we started rolling. And the manager called the cops and cops came, white cops. I'm thinking this is gonna be a different outcome, but it wasn't. Because the manager, thank God the manager of the store was there and told me, like, they didn't jump me, but this guy that I took care of
looked like he got jumped.
Yeah. And the cops didn't know what to do. Like, and they had to do something because she said they was calling me all kind of the N-words.
My God.
So that's why he got what he got. And the parents came to the precinct and was like, I know he's not going to press charges after my son is looking like he's looking. There's no way. So I was like, yeah. And the cop was like, yo, you going to press charges? I was like, yeah, pressing charges. He put his hands on me first. Ultimately, the charges was dropped because I guess the district attorney was like, looking at the pictures because they took pictures. It looked like eyes started to.
My God.
And I guess I didn't look as old as I was. So I think he was younger than me and he had no idea what he was getting into.
My God.
Because, yeah. So.
I also wanted to add, because I know my mom and my grandma told me about this too, how and I think you skipped over it a little bit, how because you were fighting so much in school, grandma wound up sending you to Miami, right? Was it Miami?
Yeah, she sent me to Miami because I was fighting so much. I mean, it was a very current thing that I was fighting, like you could say twice a week. I was getting into fights. People with from other neighborhoods. So this last fight that I had, which my mother was like, "Oh, you got to leave." It was this big kid. I wish I had my friend John and Ronaldo here to tell the story, but he wasn't even saying nothing to me. But remember, I told you I didn't like bullies. So me, John, and Ronaldo, my friends, and Doogie, we call him Doogie. His name is Lamont. We was hanging out. We played football. Was coming back and walking down the street, and John made a mistake and bumped into this other guy. He was, I forget his name, but he was my like two doors down from me, a big Dominican kid. And he said, "Watch where you going, or I'm gonna slap the crap out of you." He didn't say crap. And I was like, bro, it was a mistake. He didn't. He said, "Shut up, before I slap the crap out of you." I said, "You ain't slapping nothing. You ain't slapping nobody." So he go, "Oh yeah." So he goes to put his jacket down. So I grab my stuff and I like put my keys down and everything. He called his family outside. So I tell Doogie, "Yo, go get my pops." And so we square up. This guy's big. I mean, not just tall, but he was. It didn't matter to me. So we fighting, and he couldn't do nothing with me. Nothing.
Jesus.
All he could do was grab me
and toss
and
you.
throw me on the ground. Oh,
Get
I don't
up.
know if y'all
Get
see
up.
that,
So
that
help you
TikTok
God.
video
Right.
with the girl with the little dog, the Yorkie that she tossed and he's right back.
Yes.
That was me.
Like a little chihuahua.
So after that fight, I had adults coming up to me from the neighborhood saying, "Young man, you are a handful." Like, he was there with a whole group, and the two guys you was with, you know, they look scared to death.
Jesus.
But you are no joke. And they told me, they was like, he got what he you know, deserved. They said he couldn't do nothing with you. My mother lost her mind. I did have a damaged eardrum from that, because when he tossed me, I think I hit my head against a rock. But from there, she called my aunt and uncle in Florida, Miami, and was like, you know, he's got to go because he's going to end up in jail or dead. And you know, before I left,
I rebuke Satan. I'm sorry, y'all, because let me just say something right now, okay? Because out of all times, my grass needs to be cut.
Come on.
Out of all times doing this, and the enemy is crafty, y'all. Let me tell y'all, save that for another episode.
So before I left, this guy older brothers came up. It was nighttime. I remember my pops telling me, "Hey, watch your back on the block." He was like, you know, if anything happens, I'll call your uncle. And I was like, don't call my uncle, because I know this family would. It would be their demise from what I seen my uncle do. So I was like, nah, I'm good. And remember, I told you I hung with drug dealers as well. So they came on the block and was like, yo. So his older brother approached me and basically threatened me, but in so many words. So I was like, you know, it is what it is. And I let, you know, a couple of my boys know, and they was like, they actually stepped to the family with their crew. They stepped to the family, and my friend, I know his name, but I ain't gonna say it. They call him Baby Hev. No joke. No joke. This dude got shot 8, 9 times. Lived. He was a big gorilla dude. So him and his boys actually stepped to the family. I didn't know, and said, if you touch him or anything happens to him, you know.
My
So,
God. Right, exactly.
So I think the next few days I had went to Florida, and my aunt and uncle wanted me to stay there. It was like, hey, you know, do high school. I love Florida. When I came, it was just something about Florida. The cleanliness, the atmosphere, the weather. I love the weather. So I started high school. Went to high school in Florida. Yeah. So remember, I told you I was always a loner. I ain't care to meet nobody. Did my thing, went to school. Lunchtime came, and you know, there's people that knew that I was from New York, I guess, word of mouth, and they would come up and wave. I thought that was weird. I'd be like, hello. And I go get my tray. I look for a seat, and I see this table. I was like, oh, these dudes look all right. So it was kind of a nerdy table. So I went, took my tray. I was like, I forgot my fork. So after me and the guy spoke, he was like, oh, all right, you coming back? Yeah. So I go get my fork, and I turn around.
Oh God.
And these other dudes walk up to the table. So I'm walking back to the table, and I'm looking, and they take everybody's milk. Well, it was only one guy that took everybody's milk. Got to my tray, I had 2 milks. He took my milks. And he goes to sit down. So I come back and I put my fork down and I walk over to his table and I grab my milk, both of them, and look at them. And I walked and sat down. And everybody was just looking. They didn't get up. They didn't say nothing. I ain't grabbing nobody else's milk.
All right. I'm grabbing my milk.
But I'm grabbing my milk.
This belongs to me.
And yeah, you could look at somebody and know like
they crazy.
Right. Crazy,
I'm
no crazy.
I'm not gonna, because he would have got exposed as
My
well.
God, Jesus.
I stayed in Florida. I didn't care for the school. I wouldn't say it was racist, but it wasn't my cup of tea. I wasn't used. I was raised around Black and Hispanics. I wasn't used to being around a lot of Caucasians. I was raised, my father and uncle and everybody, hey, don't mess with them. It was still, that temperature was still in the atmosphere. I didn't like, not saying they wasn't nice, because they were, to me, they was nice. But I didn't feel comfortable around them. So I moved back to New York. I did probably almost a year there, but wasn't my cup of tea.
Right, exactly.
I had to go back to where I was comfortable. So,
well, what I love about your story is, first of all, you were not a bully, even after you knew your power and strength, right? And also you were a loner, right? But I always look for God and everything. And though you stay alone to yourself, God was always with you, even amongst all that. Because that last situation,
right.
it was taken care of. You and your family didn't have to do anything.
Right.
Okay, you know what I mean? Your friends, the guys that you hung out that did drugs, they took care of that, but God used them. You know what I'm saying? And so I love that about your story. And what I see is your mom recognized, okay, his temperament is an issue at that point, right? That was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back for her,
right,
to send you away really for safety, right? She was probably scared out of her mind that like you said, you was gonna either end up in jail or, you know what I mean, whatever.
right.
What point in time, because for us, we're family, right? And you giving us little pieces here, but we've seen, like you said, you don't bother people. But if people try you, we've seen you go from 0 to 100, right? And so for you, what point in your life did you realize, or did you, that, okay, there's an issue with my temperament, or I need to change something, or I need to work on my temperament?
That's a good question. I think what kind of honed my temperament in was when I started boxing. The coach used to talk to me of how not to overreact. There's going to be a time and period where you can unleash that, but you have to know when to, how to just because you get hit, don't mean you have to hit that person back at that moment. You might not be able to. It kind of taught me how to hold in my temper somewhat, boxing. Um, so I wasn't per se crazy. I knew I had a issue with my temper because um, it didn't matter if you was male or female.
Jesus.
Yeah, I would just
Snap.
tell you like it is in school. It didn't matter.
But I want to add too, just because like how you were saying, like we've seen, because we're family, of course, I'm my father's daughter. And so like there were many times where, and like my cousin said in the beginning, we are physically and spiritually protected. But I will say too, like with my dad, just seeing like his temperament when I was like growing up and stuff like that, um it wasn't as bad as what I'm hearing today. However, my dad, you know how they talk about like, generational curses and stuff like that, and like how things are taught from generation to generation. My father also didn't play that either. There were so many situations where if I got into a situation, or if somebody said something to me, or somebody put their hands on me, my father was like, "Oh, let's go. We gonna go handle this." Right? But his temperament, I would definitely say I've seen such a gradual like change, even from when I was younger to now.
Likewise.
So
Yeah, when you get older as well, you gain more knowledge. With knowledge comes wisdom. So you value things differently. Um, some things you just want to throw away. You don't want it anymore.
And I want to say too, remove it. Also, I want to say I know that my aunt played a major role in your temperament, in her praying for
No,
you. I know she prayed that temper away.
Yes.
Just me meeting her. Your mom played a different. I think that's why I stopped boxing. Meeting, I met your mom, and I didn't go back. I stopped going to the gym because I was,
Yeah, my mom. I love you, mommy.
Love you, auntie.
My mom has
your
such
prayers,
a...
the prayers of the righteous avail much. Keep praying. We all need
didn't
it.
know it at the time, but yep, yeah, it is.
And you know how they talk about balance in relationships, right? And my mom has such a very like calm temperament, but don't get it twisted.
Exactly.
Because you really have to push my mom to get to that point. But overall, she, even in moments of getting to that point, she always tries to remain a calm. She has a calm temperament. So
she's
yeah,
submitted to the Holy
Spirit, exactly.
And that helps you all the time. My God, because when you want to go,
I remember a situation. I was with your mom.
Yeah. I remember that too.
Oh, you was there too? Lord.
No, I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, we would take the subway a lot, and I don't want to say I was well known. The guys I was with was well known, but I was recognized from being with them. Because when I say they was well known, they was well known. And me and your mom would ride the subway, and I was always observant. Always. To this day, and I would get on the subway, and I would take a certain position on the subway. And your mom was like, we was going to a movie, something. She was like, why that guy is looking at you like that? And I used to say, I don't know.
Jesus.
And I have this. Remember, I told you the look. I kept a serious look, didn't want to look like I was, you know,
Mhm.
oblivious.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I was recognized from being with certain, which, you know, was dangerous at the time for your mom, but,
Mhm.
you know, and they would look at me and I would look back at them and they would just give me a head nod like,
Respect.
and I would, you know, shake my head. And she was like, that happened multiple times. But one time we was coming back from the supermarket, had a lot of bags. It was young guys, but it was two of them. And, you know, me being observant again, I looked at them and they was like, what are you looking at? I said, I'm looking at you.
Was I alive at this time? Was I thought
You
about,
was a baby.
or was I a baby?
Because I think I heard this.
We was on Fulton. I think you were.
Okay. Okay.
I
You can't remember.
I can't remember
Okay. It's okay.
because you wasn't with us.
Oh, okay.
So they was like, so what's up? Dropped my
Jesus.
bags. I was like, what's up? And they didn't know what to do.
Jesus. Oh, Lord.
They didn't know what to do. So they just looked at each other and just stepped off.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, all I had to do is make a one phone call. So
Jesus.
I'm still friends with not close, but me and Baby Hamp still keep in touch.
Was Auntie like, I don't want to say scared in that
No,
situation?
she was
but
not. She was ready to roll too.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said, don't get it twisted.
Your mom's had my back, boy.
Mhm.
But you know, I didn't want her to get involved, but it would have been.
She would have.
Yeah, she definitely would have.
right.
It would have been two against, you know, one that I thought of. I didn't know she dropped her bags too. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
but
Mhm.
yeah, she was
Behind
ready.
every good man.
Right, exactly.
That's
That's
my ride or
right.
die.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
So,
Well, on that note, we're gonna have to end it here because we're gonna have to do a part 2 on this episode. Okay, y'all. So y'all gonna have to come back and y'all going to hear about his encounter with the Lord and how he changed his life.
Hallelujah.
So don't remember.
Don't
Please
forget.
remember.
Don't
My
forget.
God, I need y'all to remember. Please remember to be the bridge
That helped you.
Get over.
Bye.
Be the bridge that has helped you get over.